Good evening, everybody. Listening from the kitchen. Merry Christmas. We're not going to be long tonight. I think we'll keep it pretty short, but I think it's going to be fun. I've got something kind of cool, and I just pulled a card just a minute ago that we got a double. We got a duplicate from either last week or the week before, 2 weeks back. We got a repeat. I was listening to Dodson. What'd you do for Christmas? Levels of energy. The whole thing. Half of it Christmas Eve, half of it Christmas Day. What a great thing. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm really glad you're here. I appreciate it. I've got just a quick little bit because I know this is family time and you guys have a lot going on. And let's see what else we got here. Merry Christmas. Arnaldo's in the house. Arnaldo, you are amazing. Merry Christmas, my friend. Thanks for getting up or staying up or whatever you did. Appreciate it. Here's the card I just pulled. We've had it before. It's the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles. And I mean, here's your Christmas present. This right here is your Christmas present. I wish maybe I could set it in there. No, that's not going to work. But this is your Christmas present. Are you ready? Let old Santa read you your Christmas present. The Page of Pentacles, manifesting new opportunities, beginnings, good news, ambitions, skills, and training, financial opportunities, new career paths, new connections, exploration, stage, a beginner, earth magic with a GICK, making plans a reality. Man, you couldn't ask for anything better than this. How about on the shadow side now, being non-committal, lack of progress, learning from past mistakes, procrastination, not bringing your plans down to earth. She holds her mandala with a curious heart and roots into the bedrock to begin understanding the manifesting essence that we all hold. Maybe I got this card. Did we get this as a group or was this one that I got? Remember when you thought you could be an astronaut? Go ahead and ground that energy before it dissipates. I was reading this in Steve Forrest's Book of the Moon just this weekend. We activate practical magic with our hopes, and we pull energy up from the earth to bring it to form. Progress happens one life stage at a time, and you must anchor into the details while simultaneously keeping your head in the clouds to dream. There may be pieces that still need to fall into alignment, but that doesn't mean that they're going to arrive. You are in the perfect place to figure out how to make your prosperity a reality. Merry Christmas. Seek confidence and dependability. And remember that you hold this power no matter where you stand today. New perspectives and upgrades of consciousness are on the way. So use your plans for the future and expedite its arrival. The statement, I can be practical and realistic and still run ahead to meet my dreams. This might have been one that I pulled, but wow, there's your Christmas present right there. There's your whole Christmas package. That is just so cool. Oh, this is great. This is great. Carton fits. It's awesome. Merry Christmas to all of you and happy holidays, however you are choosing to celebrate this. I had a one thing that I wanted to put back up here that we did in the Facebook group today, but some of you may not have seen this because you are not on Facebook. But here are some birthdays in our group that we've collected. See, now we have all these birthdays. So Pam's was yesterday, Liz today. And I don't know if any of you guys are on, but Linda dropped in a note that hers was today, and we didn't have her from the previous post. Brittany is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Brittany, if you're here. Michelle Howell. And then Melanie Hope Greenberg on the 28th, Nicole Moore on the 29th, and Beth Meyer on January 2nd. So we want to just say hey, and happy birthday to all of you guys. And then just on a personal note that I've been chewing on for most of today, I learned this morning, early this morning from an overnight text that my dear friend Cheryl is on her way to heaven. So it hasn't happened yet that I can tell. I asked if they would mind to send a message, but you guys just think of Cheryl. And actually, you know what? I think, hold on just a second. No, that was on that other computer over there. I pulled a picture. I'll put it in Facebook when it happens. But it was back from 2015 when I swung through St. Augustine, and we went out to the, what's the Magic Mushroom? Is that the pizza place that's up around here? But we went there and had the waiter take a picture, and it was wonderful. But, this is one of those situations that known it's been coming for a while, and there's been so much pain that this will be a relief. So hopefully she has good care and that they're keeping her comfortable. So, that's a good question. What's my favorite memory? I've been thinking about that today. I got up real early this morning because I've had a very busy day. And Mellow Mushroom. Thanks, Jenny. And I had a busy day, so I got up so that I could spend a couple of hours in the Book of the Moon. And then, I was sitting there narrating. I was thinking of Cheryl, because I already had the text. And we've known each other since college, but there was a long gap there that we weren't in contact, and then got reconnected. And then that was about right before I went to Aspen. And it was a couple of years before I went to Aspen, but then I swung through when I was down in Florida. And then after Aspen, I went back to Dallas for about a year and a half, and then I was leaving again, and I was like, where am I going to go? And water just kept coming up and card draws everywhere, Well, I had a cousin in Tampa, and then I knew Cheryl in St. Augustine. So I thought, well, I could, either side of Florida. And there was this map aspect from the Sirius software program that went right up the east coast of Florida. So I thought, well, it wasn't a primary astrocartography aspect. It was a subtle minor aspect, but it was a Sun Jupiter thing. And I thought, well, I'll go there. And of course, those of you that know the story is like, it just didn't work. It didn't work from the very first day when my audio booth wall fell into the wall of the duplex that I just rented. And then the septic tank story and the whole thing. It just did not work. And, but that was the time when Cheryl and I would do a few things, like they have a farmer's market there on Saturdays that's really fun. And she would go regardless. And I'd say, well, I'll meet you up there. So we'd walk the farmer's market. I remember I got a electric bike. It was a really cool one. It looked like a little motorcycle. It was really cool. And it went pretty fast, and you could ride it up and down on the beach. And that was really, really fun. And hey, Cheryl. And we'd try to both cram on that little bike. It wasn't, then it was, and I'm almost 6'4", and the bike was about 2'2", And so I looked like Jiminy Cricket on this thing. I looked like a grasshopper. And she was trying to hang on and was like, but we did get to tool around a little bit. That was fun. Did some star watching whenever there was a major aspect or something going on. She was always interested in that. We'd go out, whatever the view was, we'd go out and catch a view of that. My friend Chet came down one Christmas, actually. This was Christmas would have been Christmas of 2020. And Cheryl came and we went over to Chet's little place that he had rented, and they kind of hosted us and had a little Christmas dinner and exchanged some gifts. That was fun. So there were just some really good memories around that. And then, of course, it was time to leave, and we kept in touch over the phone. And then I've seen her just a handful of times since. But that's, I think, would be the best memories, were those little shared moments in St. Augustine together. That was fun. And, the thing is, I've known her since 1978 is when we were both freshmen in college. And you just don't replicate. You can't regrow a friendship of 45 years. So, but I'll tell you what, she was in such pain the last time I saw her that this will definitely be a relief. So we know that she's going in a high vibe and she will be in a high place, and her mom and dad have predeceased her. And so that's, it's time. It's time. And I'm at peace. So thank you guys. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it. Yeah, we love Cheryl. And, I'm kind of hoping that she goes tomorrow. That would just be kind of cool, I think. So, all right. We did birthdays. We did Cheryl. My family, my kids, my poor kids, the aunt, as I mentioned in the Facebook group, that disowned me after my second divorce. She passed away a couple of weeks ago. And then my kids' mom's mom passed away this morning. And then one of their cousins had a couple newly married, just newly married. And they got pregnant really quick. And it wasn't long ago. And then they had a miscarriage this past week. So my kids have been hit hard. So if you guys think David and Abigail, just say a prayer for them tonight at some point, because they've really kind of been through it. And they would appreciate that. Now, their grandmother was 97, so it's not like, I mean, she lived a good life. And same with Cheryl, too, is sometimes death is a blessing, very much. All right, I'm going to wander into some territory here that we'll just see where this goes. I was thinking about tonight, and I lit some candles. Hopefully you have one going. And I thought, what could we talk about as a group together for a minute that we might, not to repeat the stuff that you hear this time of year. So what did I do? But I went to the Bible. And I thought, there are the typical points that we hear, right? But this is one that you typically don't hear from the Bible. Of course, I went to the three wise men, the astrologers who were at the manger scene, right? So look, however you celebrate this holiday, and I know if, right now that some don't, and that's great. And some don't buy into the story, and that's great. And I don't know that I do, but that's great too. I mean, we explore it, but it has stood the test of thousands of years. And for a lot of us, we will go to either candlelight services in other places tonight. In fact, hey, you asked about Cheryl. I went down there last year at Christmas. And up here in North Carolina, we had a big polar. You remember that big cold front that came through right before Christmas last year? And it devastated. I mean, there was a lot of ice damage and water pipes frozen and all that stuff around here. Well, I got out 2 days before that thing hit, and I went down to St. Augustine. And Cheryl wanted to go to a candlelight service. And there was this new little church that had been meeting in a school. And we went to the candlelight service on Christmas Eve. I kind of just thought that this would be the last Christmas to have the opportunity. So it was great. Her calendar was clear and available. So we went to that candlelight service together. And she especially really appreciated that. So yeah, so maybe one of these is burning for Cheryl tonight. How about that? We'll just designate it as such. But I thought here were just a couple of things that, so in the story, these three, well, they've adapted three. The story doesn't designate a number, but it says wise men from the east. Now think about that. East of what? Well, where everything is happening over there now. That puts us over in like Saudi Arabia, Iran kind of area. These three came to King Herod and they said, "Where is the one who's been born king here? We saw his star. We saw his star in the east." Now, wait a minute. We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him. They are east. They couldn't have seen his star in the east. That would have been the wrong direction. They saw his star in the west. You astrologers, drop in the text what's going on here. You know. Y'all figure that. I'm going to let you respond to that one. How is it that they said, now remember, typically it's assumed that this narrative was written by non-astrologers, let's just say, okay? Whoever wrote it, but this is in the Gospel of Matthew in the New Testament, but supposedly these were, non-astrologers. So they're sitting here trying to figure this out. So the first thing is he comes and he says he saw his star in the east and we came to worship him. And when King Herod learned of this, he was troubled, and all of Jerusalem with him. Now that was an astrology reading right there. I mean, I'd love to do that, to tick off a whole town. I mean, that would be, whoa, the king and everybody else. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking. Retrograde? No. Well, could have been part of that, but Saturn alignment with one or two others. His star was on a chart. Yes, Jenny's on it. Jenny's on it. Horary chart. Made it super bright. And this is interesting because what was this phenomenon? We don't know. Was it something of the solar system that they would have known of that time from the moon to Saturn, or was it something else? But the only way that they could have said this, in fact, they said for a second here, let me read the rest here, and it actually kind of tips it off, but this is basically what's going on. Then Herod, the king, summoned the wise men secretly and found out from them the precise time the star had emerged. I was like, wow, that is really cool. Because what's the one thing about astrology is you have to have your precise birth time. So they had to figure out the precise time that the star emerged. So he sent them on to Bethlehem, and he said, go search for the child, and then when you find him, come back and report to me so that I may worship him. See, the political leaders of that day lied. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. As directed by King Herod, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went before them until it stopped over the area where the child lay. Now, that's pretty amazing. Upon arriving at the house, they observed the child with his mother Mary, and they kneeled down and worshiped him. They gave him the gifts, and then they were miraculously warned in a dream not to return to Herod, as he had planned to kill them. And so they went home another way. Intuitive prompt. I mean, this is what we talk about all the time. Now, if you look at, so it said, remember, it said that Herod called them off to the side and found out the precise time the star had emerged. And they said, where is the one who is, They said, we saw his star in the east. And they found, it said that he said that they found the precise time the star had risen. The rising sign in an astrology chart is in the east, but it's on the west side of the chart. It's on the left, but it's in the east. So when they said they saw it in the east, it's like what Jenny said, they were seeing it on the chart, the eastern side of the chart. And that's what sent them that way. So very cool. Astrology is that precise that even, and who knows who all has had their hands on this story, but one of the other things that I thought through this was that a lot of astrological knowledge was wiped out in the Middle Ages. And I just wonder if there were some techniques there, because they were combining not only the phenomenon of this. Now, these would have been, of course, hand-drawn charts. So they were observing the sky and then plotting the plots. And then, oh, what is this? So there was probably something else up there that was, let's say, abnormal, right? And that they patterned it, followed it. So there was mapping going on. And we don't use that kind of technique, that kind of thing today. So I don't know if that was how that comes about. There's nothing but presumption in between those lines. But it is interesting that there was a technique that brought them to a specific place for this special announcement. And that was where I thought our reflection tonight is that what you're talking about here is miraculous guidance. They were guided there. They were guided away. They were guided there by astrology. They were guided away by intuition. And guys, that's all we need to live. The whole map of our lives and our souls are reflected in the sky for us, and they're reflected in our intuition. And we can use one or we can use the other. Robert Glasscock uses a chart and not as much intuition. Fred Dodson uses intuition and no chart. Both right, both in the story, both methodologies that were used. And maybe one of the biggest gifts this holiday season would be the gift that both of those are free. Yeah, you have to learn how to read the chart. Yeah, you need to learn how to tune into intuition, but they're inherently given to us. The sky is there every day, and our intuition can be always on. So I think one of the things that we could meditate on tonight is just the wonder of the gift that is given to us to lead our highest timeline lives. They were following the ultimate path, weren't they? And we can too. We're no different. That story is a metaphor for us. We can use it. So with that, and with our Page of Pentacles card of basically the universal blank checkbook, I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. How about if we do a little meditation together with these candles? And if you have one, obviously, you can light yours and let it be part of your space. And then I'll catch up with your comments before we say goodnight. Send you back to your families and whatever you were doing. Thank you for being here too, by the way. This is great. Glad you guys are here. Let's do an Om together. How about a holiday Om? Christmas Eve Om. Let's do 3.
I'll tell you another cool story. It's from Arnaldo's post here that I'll put up in a minute when we finish, but there's another cool story about this time of year that I'll share with you. Has it been a tough couple of weeks? If it has, just take a minute to exhale all of that out. Just release. Tensions around the holidays, that always happens. Pressures, too much to do. Now it's time to relax. Come to a place of neutrality. It all just is, and it all is well. Think about the guidance that you get for your soul's path. Think about the hunches, the intuitive prompts that you've felt over the years. I better go see my friend this Christmas. It might be the last. Don't take that road, take this road. Don't leave now, wait 10 minutes. The protection. That's part of this story too. Protection. Safety. Can we trust our path to keep us safe? And then this beautiful analogy of divine guidance reflected from the heavens. That's what I love about looking up into the sky and seeing what it has to say to us. It's like a new message every day to help us along our way. We are guided. We are supported in so many ways, not just one. And then when you think about that card, it just has so much for us. In the way of abundant blessings. Aren't you glad you came tonight for that card alone? And one of the biggest gifts of Christmas is gratitude. If we really center in on how grateful we are for what we really do have, and think about that guidance and really open up to it this next year.
we're going to be doing a lot of things around here to bring up those very things. And I think we might just focus on what we just discussed, the sky above and our heart within. That's the combination. And that's how you can know. You say, I want to live my highest spiritual purpose. I want to live my highest physical purpose. They're one and the same, really. And this is how we can do it. So just think about a commitment to that for next year. Both the knowledge and the application, just doing it. Nike already solved that problem for you. Just do it. When you get the message, don't argue with it. Just do it. And that's a good one you can follow through with. I hope this puts a lighter spin on the holidays for you. The gratitude that we are guided. And I do wish each of you a very happy Christmas Eve. This is a special time. I always loved Christmas Eve growing up. It's a night to reflect. For those of you who appreciate the song, "O Holy Night," you might put it on before you go to bed. That's the space that you can stay in for the rest of this evening. O Holy Night. And that we are connected to that holiness right inside of our souls. It really is a beautiful gift. Isn't that the Christ within? I love the scene of these candles. Let me put some of your messages up. This is from Melissa. She lost her mom 3 years ago. We have another birthday that popped in. Brooke, good to see you on YouTube. Thank you. Good to have you here. Well wishes from a fellow YouTuber. Here's Esmon. Oh, you guys are so wonderful. This is the best family gathering right here. Thank you very much. Jenny, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Jesse, Merry Christmas to you. Here's another one. Let's see. Here's a little astrological interpretation. Jupiter in Leo in the first house, trining the sun in Sagittarius. Hey, that's a great combination. Those of you who know what she's saying there, you could probably nod your head. Here was another one that I wanted to fill in here. So Arnaldo was saying, from an astronomical point of view, after the solstice, the nights stay at the longest duration of the year, of course, in the north, days in the south, while on the 25th of December, the length of the day begins to increase again after 6 months. This represents the rebirth of the light winning over the darkness. Thank you, Arnaldo. That is beautiful. And the other one that I was going to tell you is this one is known in astrology, and Robert Glasscock has mentioned it, that at the solstice, the sun is at its lowest declination. And what it does is it literally, I mean, I went up our shot tonight from, let me go back here and I'll show you. This was sunset tonight on the Blue Ridge Parkway. It was absolutely spectacular up there tonight. Just gorgeous. But the sun is at its lowest point, as Arnaldo was referring to. And what it does is it goes down and basically descends down to its lowest point in the sky. In other words, in a tomb, if you will, below the horizon, below at its lowest declination, where it stays for 3 days. And then, just as Arnaldo says, then it begins to rise again. This, for those of you who appreciate the full story there, quite an interesting parallel of how that was drafted from that astronomical, and for those who study the declinations, astrological phenomenon as well. So just another cool application of this. All right, I know you have family and friends and everything going on, so it really is. I mean, it's just how nature and spirituality and everything weave together is so much greater than all of the distortions that have been put into it as well. So we just focus on the good, and that's one of the things, is to bring that good out is so fun, to acknowledge and know these things and seeing these things in there. Rob, good to see you. Hope you're feeling well and everything going well for you. Thank you, Kristen. I'm excited too. We're going to be focusing on intuition this next year. There's Brooke. Hey, Brooke Hodge. Okay, good. We'll get her on our list. I'll go back and reconstruct that. You said 3 days from now, Brooke. Is that right? Brooke, if you're still on. So are you 25, 26, 27? Brooke Hodge. Let me just make a note here. We'll put her on our list. I think it's really cool that we've got these other names, because now you guys can see who's around you on birthdays too. That's fun. I saw Esmon's comment. Let's see. What do we got here? Yeah, she said 33rd in 3 days. Yeah, well, I think that catches us up. I'm glad you did this tonight. I had a wonderfully busy Christmas Eve with my family, and now I get to share a peaceful evening at home on my porch. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I wish I knew who that was. But thank you. That's a great, what a cool comment. Yeah, it's been a busy day. It has been across for all of us. I know. Had a busy day myself. So thank you, guys. This was awesome. I loved it. And I hope that little meditation with the guidance is something that's meaningful for us. Oh, you're so sweet, Arnaldo. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Hope this voice holds out through the week. So, Beth. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, glad you're over in the Facebook side tonight. That's great. Awesome. Good. Thank you. And trying to finish up this audiobook, and then I'm going to be hitting the road for a little while. So we'll have some remote podcasts, which will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Well, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful time with your families or by yourself, whatever you're doing. And I announced on one of the podcasts this week that Robert Glasscock and I did not finish all the episodes that we need for the next couple of weeks. So we were looking at the calendar. What are you doing Christmas morning? Two old guys, with sitting around working all the time. He said, nothing. I said, book it, 9:00. So we'll be in there. We moved it back because we got some other stuff that came up, but we moved it back. So we're going to be recording some podcasts in the morning. Boom, right there. There you go. So this has been fun. I love this. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and other holidays, however you're celebrating them. And thank you for being here. Love you to pieces, and we'll see you next week and on the podcast in between. All right. Have a wonderful Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.